child has access to is completely limitless, unmonitored, and we know from evidence cannot be unseen and is highly inappropriate.
We started to experience a number of issues related to smartphones in our school. Instances of young people filming themselves in bathrooms with one another and posting that information on social media sites. Filming instances in classrooms with teachers that teachers understandably found very difficult. And coupled with that, a number of instances where WhatsApp groups were being used within classes and around classes that led to some really unpleasant online behaviour.
So 38% of the boys in my care, they could look at their phones whenever they wanted, they look at whatever they wanted to, in any kind of way they wanted to. Everything under the sun that I could ever possibly imagine could go wrong in this school has gone wrong at some point through phone use. I remember talking to a boy in year 10, asked him when's the first time he watched pornography. He said it was when he was in year 7 on a school residential trip at the Fulham Boys School. And that really got to me. I just thought it didn't matter what his parents did outside of school. On my watch, he went on a residential, someone showed him something, and he's been addicted to pornography ever since. And I just don't think that's acceptable.
We had the not seen, not heard policy beforehand. We would average probably confiscate about 9 phones a week. However, we did have issues of sometimes children bringing their parents in toilets and then having to deal with that situation. Communication, break and lunch, you'd see a lot more kids hanging around toilets. That what exactly are they doing? It's not just about over the loo. 50% of our students told us that their parents never checked their mobile phone, and 50% of children told us that they had their phones in their bedrooms overnight.
I felt I needed to do something really different. And so I took the decision at that point that I was going to ban smartphones from the upcoming September, and that I didn't feel that they had a place in our school, that we needed as teachers and parents together to enable our young people to enjoy school for what it was, to stay children, to focus on their learning and on their friendships. And as I made the announcement to my first year group, a moment that will always stay with me is that they just broke into a round of applause. So from the September of 2015, we have had a very simple rule in place. And I would urge all of you as head teachers to keep it really simple from the outset. So our simple rule has always been that young people may bring a brick phone to school, but that brick phone cannot have a camera and it cannot have access to the internet. But if they have a brick phone, it has to be turned off in their bags all day and it cannot be used during school. But one thing that we can all do that can enable our children to be children, to enjoy their time at school, for parents to be able to support their young people in making good choices for themselves, and for teachers to be able to concentrate on teaching, is to take away those smartphones.
I wish I'd done it 3, 4, 5 years ago. That my only regret about the whole thing is not doing it sooner, because of the significant difference it's made. The empowerment in the community about their smartphone-free experience, I think, is really, really powerful. So we've been smartphone free for 2 years, and it's working really, really well.
We announced in May that in September 2024, we were going to have free brick phones available to students for students to buy. Those brick phones, you can only text or call, so no cameras whatsoever, and you can't have a smartphone. So you can't bring it to school, you can't take it home from school, you can't have it at school. It's the first time and the only time in my career I've ever had a round of applause. So the parents of the younger generation of students, they're just absolutely delighted. And what it means is they can just be children. I don't believe a young person needs a phone. And I believe it's trying to do the right thing in the kindest possible way. And the right thing is to remove those phones altogether. It's had a massive impact in the school. My safeguarding lead would say we've had a 90% reduction in child sexual exploitation. So everything from sexting to grooming, all of those issues, it's massively depleted, particularly with the younger years. And our parents and our boys are happier. Our admissions were higher. They're higher than ever before. We had an Ofsted consultation. They were delighted with it. The younger parents are delighted with it. I think from a head teacher's perspective, making the decision actually gives you more credibility. The parents feel like the school stands for something, and the young people are educated in a different way.
Since putting it in place, even my worst year 11 culprits last year comment on how much better it's made it for them, and just particularly how much they talk more. We've seen reduction in suspensions. We've seen a significant reduction in safeguarding issues around mobile phones again. Bullying outside of school. We've not had the usual year 7 WhatsApp groups that form and cause that low level conflict that takes place in school. But as sexting, grooming, serious safeguarding incidents have completely almost disappeared.
I tried to get out as much as possible, like on the radio, on social media, like beyond the school walls to be heard. And that generated quite a lot of kind of positive press, not from our parents, but from beyond that. And so we just kind of got known in Oxfordshire area that we're doing this. This was the easiest thing I've ever done because there was such a strong rationale that sits behind it. People engage with it so positively. And I think as well, you know, with our staff, our teachers really, really, really recognised it. And again, really came on board very quickly in terms of willingness to share that message, to have those parent meetings and to keep a really open conversation about it, whilst also maintaining a really firm line of what we believe and why we believe it.
I would agree with the soft launch and giving yourself plenty of run-in time and plenty of access for parents and young people, and also the media approach as well. I very much did the same thing, and it found that students and parents were almost a bit excited about the fact that we were doing this thing at our school. I've had the most concern ever raised has been about safety, and parents almost sort of preoccupation that their child will be safer if they have a smartphone and they can track them or they know where they are. My point has always been that they are not safer with a smartphone. They are less safe with such an expensive device.
My top tip would be about the consultation piece. Yes, you've got to have a really clear communications plan, but if you fundamentally believe as a school and governors and as a trust that is the right route to go, all the consultation you do will not stop you from making that ultimate decision if you think it's the right thing.
You never have a grey area. So you never allow one person to do one thing or another person to do another. And I would say a really important place around that is school trips. That if children are allowed to take their smartphones on a residential trip for the weekend and have them all night, you are at real opposition of your policy. So being really clear and consistent, having no grey areas, and sticking to it, but celebrating it all the time.
It's so motivating to do something that you believe in, that you actually genuinely like. I want my own 2 children to have a head teacher that loves them inside the school and outside the school. That's what I want for my own children. People have got so reliant on needing a phone. When they go through a phase where actually it's been taken away, they then survive very, very well without using one. I believe in this. It's the right thing to do for young people. And it's the thing I'm most proud of in my career.
This isn't about something that's punitive. This isn't about taking something away. And there's a real danger, I think, with some of the national narrative at the moment that it feels like that. This is about protecting safe spaces for young people to be children, to enjoy time at school. It's about enabling parents to feel that they are being given the space to make the decisions they want to make for their children and smartphones.
Enjoy standing for something you believe in. And I would say that our education around phones is better now than it has ever been. And not a single one of my parents could ever say that I didn't care.